You're explaining your experience. You know exactly what you've done. But as you start speaking, you add more and more, and your message becomes less clear. Not because your English is weak, because you lose control as you expand. And in that moment, your authority drops. You don't need more language, you need control. One clear sentence is enough. Calm structure creates authority. Your goal is very simple. It's to help people understand your experience quickly and confidently. Not everything, just what matters at your level. People are listening for three things: ownership, responsibility, and impact. Clarity shows control. Control signals seniority. You are rarely working alone. So your language must reflect reality. I was responsible for. I was involved in. I played a role in. They're not weak language, they're accurate. Authority comes from accuracy, not exaggeration. Some examples of ownership might be, I was responsible for onboarding staff, or I was involved in international projects. Short, clear, and credible. You don't need more. As an optional refinement, you can talk about things like, I've been responsible for, which connects past experience to your present value. That is a refinement, it's not a requirement. If you want to keep it very simple, no problem at all. But a way you can link the past to now is that language change, I've been. We can extend slightly now. Coordinated, contributed to, oversaw, assisted, prepared, reviewed. You probably already recognize these. You don't need all of them. Professionals don't collect language, they select it. Authority comes from selection, not volume or amount of language. Some more examples. I've coordinated schedules. I've overseen operations. Short sentence, but very clear action. If you start expanding, in that moment you lose control of your message. If you say too much in any situation, you weaken the signal. Now to add some context. This is optional, but you can add time. So for example, for 3 years, over the past few years. Why we might do this is because time often increases your credibility, but only when it's controlled. You can practice that now. I want you to think about one thing that you have been doing in the past that will affect your experience now. And if you like, put some time behind it. So I've been managing my team for the last 5 years in whatever situation. Perfect. Talking about time naturally, you don't need exact dates. Again, that goes into too much detail. Professional English is very flexible. For a long time, fine. Over the past few years, great. Precision doesn't mean the exact numbers. It means appropriate clarity. Think about your audience. Do they need to know the exact dates? If they don't, give them an idea. It gives you clarity, but it doesn't overload the message that you're giving. Some other ways we can talk about time. We can approximate language for time. Around 8 years. About, more or less. Nearly, roughly. These are very efficient tools. They keep you moving, but without breaking your flow. You don't have to think, when exactly did I start and finish? So it feels very natural. Professionals maintain that flow. They don't pause to calculate perfection. And that's a big thing when you're speaking a second language. We need to remove those calculations. So it's just very natural, very simple, very calm. And a nice rule reminder, under pressure, simple rules protect you. So rules like for 3 years, not since 3 years. You don't need more than this. You don't need more language here. You need to stop adding. You don't need longer sentences. You need one controlled addition. I've worked with international clients. I've managed small teams. One idea is enough. If everything is important, nothing is clear. In English, as you know, there's many different ways to say the same thing. I've worked in marketing. I've worked mainly in marketing. I have experience in marketing. You can choose what you want to say without hesitation. Again, control creates confidence. You probably already know these. So we have a direct type of comment. I've worked in, I've managed, very short, very clear, simple, delivered well is very professional. The second type of statement you could use is focus-based. Most of my experience is in. I've focused on. So you are directing the message. You're directing where you want the people to listen. And professionals decide what to leave out. So if there's something that you don't need to add, leave it out. A third statement type is you can use experience as a noun. So you probably recognize these. I have experience in project management. My background is in architecture. My background is in information technology. Stable, controlled, there's no risk. And it's simple authority with no effort. It just sounds authoritative. The fourth type of statement is time plus the focus. So it helps you sound confident without going into extra detail. Over the past few years, I have, or I've spent most of my time, and then you say doing what? A complete message doesn't require more words. So it would be the time plus the focus, and then you stop. So I'd like you to think about that now. Try and build one sentence where you talk about a time period and then the focus of that time. So how long it was for and what you were doing, and then stop. And then a final choice reminder. You're going to choose one verb. You're going to choose one area. You're going to choose one time reference, and that is enough. More language does not increase your authority, control does. Common problems, trying to sound too advanced creates so much confusion. For example, I have elaborated extensive strategic experience. No, that's just confusing. The person listening has to try and understand what exactly you mean by that. And actually, it sounds probably like you don't know what you're saying. If you simply said, I've worked on strategy, great. And then you can, if you like, follow it out with time or follow it up with a bit more detail. But it's very clear to the listener what you're saying. If you can't say it simply, you don't control it yet. Another problem, too many details reduce clarity so much. I worked in marketing, sales, admin, social media, training, emails. No, it's too much. Pause, exhale fully, slow it down. It gives you a response you can rely on. I've worked across different areas, mainly marketing and communication. And lastly, do not panic about mistakes. People are not judging you based on your English level. They're trying to listen attentively and understand your experience. So if you make a mistake, it's okay, move on. Deep breath, and then continue with your controlled English. Clear is better than perfect. People understand you if your verbs are clear and if your sentences are simple. Control first, language second. I want you to notice when you're practicing your introductions, I want you to notice the clarity, notice the control that you have. And a calm structure creates that authority.